Hello, good people. This is Tim Flick, and I'm here with Bob Dahl, and really happy to have you here. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. He's a Chief Investment Officer for Crossmark Global Investments, and some of my clients would have their mutual funds on your statements, the steward funds. So we're familiar. We've worked together, and I really like this company. And I'm happy to have Mr. Dahl here today because he's also a Christian. And I heard you speak. You said we have the platform, I guess, that we have comes from excellence. The right to be able to talk about something like this comes from excellence. And he's been with a lot of big firms in big positions, Chief Investment Officer for most, Merrill Lynch, BlackRock, Oppenheimer, Nuveen, and now Crossmark. So, and I followed you. You probably didn't know it. 20 years ago, I got your thing every week and watched it. So today, if you wouldn't mind, just these are more. This is a personal question, really. This first one. Why is values-based investing important to you personally as a Christian investor?
I'd say a few things in response to that, Tim. First of all, thanks for having me. I'd start by saying the money that I have is not my money. It's God's money. And therefore, I have an obligation, a responsibility, a privilege of being a steward of that money. I mean, if it's really my money, who cares what I do with it? But if it's God's money, now all of a sudden there's a whole different perspective. And therefore, lining up where we invest that money with God's objectives, I think makes all the sense in the world. Let me answer it slightly differently. I don't want to get to heaven, and on Tuesday afternoon, God stops by and says, "Hey, Bob, you got a few minutes?" And he says, "Well, you did okay down there on earth, except I have a question. Why'd you invest in all those companies in that index fund you owned that maim people or kill people?" I do not want to have that conversation. So I like to say, why not have a portfolio that fits not just this life, but the next life? And if they can dovetail, it's a wonderful opportunity. That's why I've moved my money there.
Okay. So you'd rather hear well done, good and faithful servant.
Hear, hear.
And then, so professionally, you manage a lot of money. So you're a steward of a lot of money. So how do you put that... So you have the excellence in investing, and then your faith informs the wisdom and decisions that you make. So how do you put that into practice?
Yeah. So an observation for starters, while obviously we have products and clients who are faith-based, we have a lot of clients who are not. And I ask them, why do you invest with us? Because you're not necessarily of faith. And they say, we like what you do. You're good people, and we trust you. Now, we're not perfect people, believe me, but I think there's that trust element because we're trying to do it God's way, and people, whether of faith or not, respect that. So how do we put it into practice? We start with the easy part, the exclusions. What are the companies that are not doing good, harming people, harming society? I like to ask the question, okay, if I didn't have these products, would the world be a better place? And that's my universe, as you know, is the Russell 1000, the 1,000 largest companies in the U.S. There are 47 that I cannot invest in because we've identified those as companies that hurt people one way or the other. That's the easy part, and just about all values, faith-based firms do that. The more interesting and the harder and more exciting part is, what are you for? Not just what are we Christians against, but what are we for? Now, in that category, we ask the question, who's doing good? Who's making the world a better place? Family values, promoting justice. How do these companies treat their constituents? Their employees, their suppliers, their customers, et cetera, et cetera. And you can measure those things objectively. It's not just sitting around a table figuring it out. Everything we do is revenues based, so we can be objective and have it repeatable over time. So companies that do those good things, yeah, they have to be good companies with smart business plans, the ability to execute, an inexpensive stock price, good cash flow, good growth, all the secular characteristics. But on top of that, the extra kiss is, are you doing good? That's how we implement it. It's been a blast.
Good, good. And then I read your paper, this history, values-based investing, and if someone wants it, I can email it out to you. Just send me an email. But engage was another portion of that. So how do you go about that? How effective is that? So
Yes.
some big companies, BlackRock, Vanguard, they have a lot of shares
Yes.
of a lot of companies in their index funds. Therefore, they can help influence the board. So how effective is that?
We are a smaller voice, there's no question about it. But companies like to hear from us from time to time. Often when we call a company and say, we got a problem with this part of your business, and they say, no one's ever called with this. On the other side of the equation, calling all the time, but this is refreshing to them. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we're making a difference, and we line up with other faith-based investment firms so that we begin to have more clout. It causes companies to think.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks so much for this. I really appreciate it. Honored to have you here.
My privilege. Thanks, Tim.
Really nice to meet you.
All the best. Good luck. God bless.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks.